Is in the country, the Bradley Braves.
They're playing at an elite level, and as we look at two premier teams, we take a look at a couple premier players. Let's begin with the Loyola Ramblers. Cameron Krutwig, he can score it, he can rebound it, and he can dish it with the best of them. And when I say the best of them, I mean the best of them.
He's an exclusive club. You've got 1,500 points, over 800 rebounds, over 300 assists for Cameron Krutwig. He's in a club with guys named Oscar, Larry, Hersey, guys you don't have to say their last name.
Bradley looking for a bounce-back game after a loss to the Illinois State Redbirds earlier this week. The Ramblers, another convincing win when they beat Valparaiso earlier this week after handling Northern Iowa at home last weekend. Childs unable to get the first attempt for Bradley to go, and Norris sets up the Ramblers offensively. Out to Clemens, three-point shot. Loyola starts it hot.
That's the lineup change. Porter Canadian, a lot of Canadians we see in the U.S. playing ball.
East tries to finish, doesn't get the roll. Here comes Norris. Two of the top defensive teams, not just in the Missouri Valley Conference, but in the country, Kevin. And this is likely going to slow down the pace of the game today as both teams really play physical. They get up and defend you.
You've got to be able to execute deep in the shot clock.
Offensive putback might be the easiest two we'll see here today. There's a pass that's over the head of East and out of bounds. And here's that defense that we're talking about. The far right column, it's where these teams rank in the NCAA. Loyola second best in scoring defense. Bradley ranking for scoring defense, field goal defense, and blocks per game.
Yeah, they've been outstanding, both these squads. We talked about their identity and their culture.
Both allowing less than 63 points per game. Reasons like that. There's the block factor. Rink Mast gets the block on Krutwig. It's going to stay with the Ramblers.
Well, Mass is holds his ground, gets the block.
Norris, reverse layup, gets it to go. Braden Norris, the sophomore, with a big bucket there for Loyola. Ramblers up 7.
Porter Mosley calls him. Norris, the pit bull.
Lucas Williamson comes up with the steal on the Missouri Valley Conference all-defensive team a season ago. There's Nolan with the steal, and then a foul on Clemens. And both teams with 3 fouls early in this first half.
Oh, this is the point in the game where if Porter Mosier had a jacket, it would have came off, Brad. You cannot turn the ball over on an OB play for the Ramblers.
And he was asked about the coach's sideline wardrobe and how it's just with dealing with the COVID protocols, it's gotten rid of the suit and tie, and I think a lot of head coaches are pretty comfortable with the golf shirt. And
they are. Those announcers, we're still wearing ties. We got to get with the program here, Brad.
There's Clemens, gets it back. Knocks in the 3.
Wow, that's big time for Clemens. He's knocked in 2.
Rebounded by Williamson. So ahead to Ugwak. He wants to attack. Blocking foul called on Childs. That's the first on Elijah Childs. Well, the Loyola Ramblers, 5 of 7 shooting so far. They're 2 for 3 from outside. Clemens uses Krutwig. It's a 10-point lead. 12-2, Loyola has opened up a 10-point lead on the road. They have done it with some hot shooting as the Ramblers 2 for 3 from the outside. Clemens shooting them all, but Kevin, their improvement in three-point shooting has been fantastic.
8.4 this year. They made under 6 a team from the perimeter.
Now Williamson, 33% last year, 41% this season. And the Missouri Valley Conference as a whole, Kevin, they have 5 teams in the top 50 in the NCAA in three-point field goal percentage. Loyola 18th in the country.
Yeah, and if you watch...
And here comes Bradley. They need a basket. Haven't scored for 4 minutes. Childs goes to work against Ugwak. He gets deep on Ugwak. The shot doesn't go. And Childs saves it from going out of bounds, but now the Ramblers have numbers.
That's 2 for Childs that have just skipped off the rim.
Tate Hall in the lane, lays it in. And Tate Hall has been a big pick-me-up since he's been pulled out of the starting lineup, as he's the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week this past week.
It took all the pressure off Tate Hall. He has been outstanding.
Bradley still empty on the offensive end for a 5-minute stretch now. Here's Kennedy, blows by Hannah and finishes with authority. Timeout, Bradley.
Boy, the freshman got put on a poster.
It's Kennedy at 6'1", Hannah at 6'8", tried to come from behind, but so quick to the rim. And for Braden Norris, that's his second personal foul. And he'll head to the bench as Clemens checks in.
Well, that ball goes to the net, but the foul's before the shot, so still Bradley digging wells, but coming up dry.
Kingsby pull-up jumper, a sound we haven't heard since the 18-minute mark for Bradley.
Kingsby, a guy who had 25.
It was 7 minutes, 44 seconds, the scoring drought for Bradley. See if that sparks him. Here's Krutwig inside. He's deep on Linky and drug his pivot foot.
We're getting a little bench excitement for the Braves. Linky, the freshman.
You mentioned it's Coach Wardle sending a message, and you can tell at the top of your screen, message received, as you see everybody standing on that Bradley bench. Now here's Clemens with the finish as the Ramblers just continue to roll.
Well, Tate Hall has been exceptional coming off the bench. Dangerous.
Especially depth that shoots 69% from the floor. Tavanainen an offensive rebound. Here's East, has it taken away by Ugwak. Ugwak and Williamson. Ugwak takes it. Williamson's put back, blocked by Mast. Here's East, slows it down to fire the three. Williamson another rebound.
Boy, not the shot you want in this situation. How these slumps.
Tavanainen will fire the three and connect. His first shot of the game, and Kevin Tavanainen is an X factor for Bradley this season.
Big key for the Braves. When he scores 10 a game, they were by halftime.
Tavanainen, heat check. That one just off the rim.
I didn't like that shot. Contested three, had not moved the deep.
You said execute out of a slump, right? Not shoot out of a slump.
You really do. You've got to get some execution and move your defenders around.
I'm listening. Krutwig gets fouled. Remind you to stay tuned for our halftime report, a presentation of State Farm Insurance. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. A Tate Hall feature. Take a look at first half stats and highlights. Good. And Loyola clears the rebound once again. Krutwig inside working against Hannah and gets the bucket and an and one on the freshman.
Well, this is outstanding. Yeah, Williamson, considered an honor when he guards you. Sean East can get no penetration off Williamson.
Childs has to fire it to beat the shot clock. He gets it to go. And initial indication is that was a two. They're going to go to the monitor because that was close to being behind that three-point line. So they're going to go ahead and take a look at it right now. Here's Kennedy trying to shake East. Krutwig working against Linky. Dishes to Ugwak, the two-hand stuff.
Well, the double came on the bounce, free lane. And before that, we saw that pass he got from Krutwig. Bounce off the deck.
This is East. Shoots it over Krutwig and Williamson at the horn. Gets it to go. A basket for Bradley as the first half finishes, but 19 points for the Braves in the first 20 minutes, and Loyola has a 24-point lead over Bradley here at halftime, as we will come back with our State Farm halftime report, stats, highlights, and more. But the Ramblers spreading it out, a number of different players scoring, but they are scoring a lot and they are locking down the defense. It's the Ramblers rolling in Peoria. Loyola has forced Bradley into 11 turnovers. The result of it, the first 20 minutes, Loyola's highest scoring first half of the season, Bradley's lowest scoring first half of the season. Kevin, just how impressive was it what Loyola was doing?
We've seen it the last center spot.
For the Bradley Braves, Wardle went to his bench, pulled in the freshman, everybody off the bench, went into the floor. Kind of brought a little more energy there for a while for Bradley.
It gave him some life, but they got a big hole to dig out of. Brad, what you have to do is really try to work on execution, and Charles got to get some touches closer to the basket.
The Ramblers playing at an elite level the last couple weeks here in Missouri Valley Conference action, and we have more coming up here as we are only at the half. We'll be back.
Just an average at best free throw shooter.
There you see Henry and Boya on the bench for Bradley in street clothes. You also have Kevin McAdoo taking a leave from the team for family reasons.
So Bradley has to rely on some freshmen. Brian Wall get some experience.
There's Nolan with a steal. Races to the opposite end, gets the layup to go. Terry Nolan's on the scoreboard for the first time.
He is their big bucket getter, but
East shoots over top of Krutwig, who sagged off him, didn't want East to scoot around him, and East just shot it right over. Back-to-back baskets now for Sean East.
Well, East is the guy who replaced Porter Moser's jacket. That account still going there, Brad, because they did not wear jackets this year.
I believe it is. It's in spirit, but it is. There's just no updates on when the jacket comes off.
Well, we used to have the over/under on the time on the clock when it was going to come off. And here's Childs, 1-on-1 now. He's a shot maker.
He's a guy that can get the jacket off in a hurry if he gets going, but he has struggled here today as Childs 3 for 10 shooting in this game. Norris misses. Ugwak to finish and an and one. East working off the Childs screen, skips it back to Mast. Now inside to Childs. Does not get the shot off before the shot clock. As that Loyola defense, Kevin, they are locked in today.
It has been stifled.
Krutwig's shot does not fall. Bradley, an opportunity just to slowly chip away at this Ramblers lead. Kevin, if you were on the Bradley bench, what would be a benchmark you would try and challenge your players to go get?
Well, you're 18 down now. It's your hope.
52-36 is our score. Bradley trying to chip into that Loyola Rambler lead as Bradley looking for win number 10 and the Ramblers looking to keep their winning streak going. Well, today's State Farm NBC Scholar Athlete of the game is Bradley's Jashawn Henry, the junior forward from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Averages 11 points, 4.5 rebounds per game. Henry has a 3.40 cumulative grade point average in family and consumer sciences. When you want the real deal like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Kevin, with Henry being on the bench, still out with his concussion protocol, that changes things. They've got a few players on the bench unavailable.
Well, big time with Jashawn Henry. In my book, he has been cut into this lead.
Loyola's turnovers now up to 11. Took care of the basketball that first half. Here's Kingsby, gets the jumper to go.
Oh, big basket. Here come the Braves. They got it down to 14. Can they make a stop?
The start of the broadcast, Kevin, we were talking about Bradley going for win number 10. They'd be in the title hunt at the end of the season as Loyola 11 wins. They've been rolling here 6-1 in Valley play, and you figure this is one of those top matchups. And what an impressive first half for Loyola, but you're right, Bradley hanging in there.
Oh, that was an impressive move there by. He's been the leader in the second half of this comeback by the Braves.
He has 10 points, leads the Braves. He had 4 at halftime. He's been getting deep in the lane and creating for the Braves. Here's Tavanainen, and somebody they like to get rolling offensively. And a layup. And the foul.
Well, Bradley's already scored more points here in the second half than they did in the entire first half.
Williams, the three, is blocked by Kingsby.
Great recovery by Kingsby.
Inside to Childs. Childs wants to go one-on-one on Ugwak. Shoots it with the right hand, gets it to go.
Great patience by Childs, the double dogs.
13-0 on the season, and by Tuesday it'll be 22 days off. Welch misses the shot next to the rim. Childs missed the Close range shot last time down. This time, bucket and a foul. Childs scores it through contact.
Well, this is a great move.
It's a 14-point lead right now. Bradley had it down to 11. Hall with a bucket and an and one.
The contact.
The foul's called on Terry Nolan, and that is his 5th personal foul. So Terry Nolan Jr. is done for the day for Bradley. 2 points. Mast with the basketball. He's playing with 4 fouls. Tavanainen in the back cut. Easy lay-in for Ville Tavanainen, and he's got 12.
Well, set play. Take advantage of the overplay in that left wing. And
all over to Uguak. Lost it out of bounds. Now here Uguak, Kevin, he's having a good game. 13 points, 8 rebounds. Tell you what, close to a double-double in his only other career double-double. 11 points, 11 rebounds against these Bradley Braves. That was last season.
Uguak, elite defender.
Meanwhile, Loyola's made 3 of their last 4 shots, making it tough, and Kennedy stepped on the end line, out of bounds. It'll be Bradley basketball when we come back. Loyola, a 16-point lead. Bradley doing all they can to try and come back, make this one a photo finish. 67-51, Loyola in front of Bradley's. The Braves just continue to try and get closer and closer. Here's our Players of the Game. A presentation is State Farm. When you want the real deal like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Here, Uguak, Ville Tavanainen, fun to say. And Kevin, they're having good games today.
Uguak's been sensational. He's 5 of 7 from the field.
Ville having quite the interesting off-season as once the pandemic started, he went back to Finland, went through his obligatory summer military training for 4 straight weeks. Was not able to go home at all during those 4 weeks. A little bit different than his previous training. Learned how to shoot a gun. No surprise, Kevin, he's a sharpshooter in both the military and on the basketball court.
That is not a surprise. That young man can fill it up. Win here in Peoria.
And Kevin, these 2 teams, NCAA tournament qualifiers the last 3 years. Bradley didn't get to play a season ago, but representing the Missouri Valley Conference. I asked Brian Wardle when we were talking with him about goals for Missouri Valley Conference regular season title, and he said, we want to get to the NCAA tournament. Like, we want to be healthy when Arch Madness comes rolling around.
He made no bones about that. That was the goal. This league is moving right along.
Well, Kevin, it's interesting, too, the NBA, they've got teams doing a few back-to-back games with the same team in the same city. In fact, just like Loyola and Bradley play today and tomorrow, the Pacers host the Raptors today and tomorrow. The Hornets are at the Orlando Magic today and tomorrow. So it's different from a college basketball world, but the NBA's using it as well.
Taking a page out of the Valley book, playing back-to-backs as these 2 teams will at Bradley.
You talk about, I mean, there's another opportunity tomorrow for a quality win, right? Bradley, they're winning this second half, 33-24. If they can get a win over Loyola, that's a quad 1 win for them, right?
Yes, quad win. Nolan will come out ready to play.
Now, Bradley's last win in this series with Loyola, a 2-point win in the 2019 Missouri Valley Conference Tournament in the semifinals. They'll get to try again tomorrow as Krutwig still pumped up in this final minute.
Oh, we talked about what Norris can do for this team.
This one out. Kevin, they're off to their best start through the first 8 games since 1984-85 when they opened up the Midwestern Collegiate Conference action. 7-1. They went to the Sweet 16 that year. Loyola improves to 12-3. They're 7-1 in Valley play. The Bradley Braves dropped to 9-6 and 3-3 in conference action.
Well, the last 4 games since they made that 13 was outstanding.
Well, the Ramblers had a 24-point lead at halftime, and they're able to cruise on to a victory here. Final score 69-56 over Bradley. Our next MVC game of the week, Tuesday, January 26th, Missouri State plays host to Drake. Our coverage starts at 7. For Kevin Lehman, I'm Brad Wells. Have a good day.